Well, today our guest is Vyacheslav Drofa, Ukrainian rapper known as OTOY. But I'm going to call you Slava if that's okay. So,
Yeah.
hi, Slava. How
Hello.
are you today?
I'm fine. Just finished my job, and then now I'm here on a call.
And and straight to the podcast.
That's right.
That's real dedication. We're really grateful for you coming and joining us today and talking with us. And before we talk about your music career as one of Ukraine's top rap artists, tell us a little bit about who you are. Where were you born in Ukraine, and what your childhood was like?
Originally, I'm from Lviv. It's a city in the western part of Ukraine, and I was born there. All my childhood went there, and after that, I think maybe like 8 years ago. Now I'm 25, and 8 years ago, I I relocated to Kiev because of my job. Because also along with the music, I'm working in the IT industry, working as user experience director. So right now I'm a musician. I call myself a musician, Ukrainian rapper, but not all the time rapper. Sometimes it's like a soul hip hop, soul music, maybe pretty close to R&B. And also I'm working as user experience director in the fintech industry. And I've changed a lot of spheres actually. It was cybersecurity sphere. It was different type of job actually in the IT. And right now I'm working in a fintech. We're doing banks. We made one of the most popular bank in Ukraine and actually becoming one of the most popular banks in the world. Actually, is Monobank. This is like the first neo bank in the world, actually without any offline. Like you don't need to go to get a credit card or to get a loan or something like this. You just need to install an application. That's all. So yeah, this is what I'm
Oh,
actually
that's
doing.
really convenient for people. I'm sure the banks are trying to make it easier for their
Definitely,
customers. Is that the point?
yeah.
And
So
that's where you were prior to coming here for the podcast. You were working your other job.
yeah, yeah. I was preparing. Right now, we're working on one of the projects in US. We are working on a project called Cashable.com. This is like a loans for the people that works in government in US. And if you have like low credit score or something like this, and you need help with a credit score or something like this, the Cashable gives you the ability to get a loan if you cannot get it, for example, in a bank, but you're a government worker or something like this. So yeah, this is what I'm basically doing right now on my at my job. And along with this, finishing my next album. Yeah. I think maybe right now it's like a 70% of my life is music and 40% is that's an IT. Yeah.
How did you start working with banks and financial institutions on customer experience? What led you on that path?
I remember in a childhood, actually, I'm from really poor family. There in Lviv, back in the days, we haven't had a lot of money or something like this. And I realized that I need to earn some money. We call it hustle. I should hustle something.
We do
Yeah.
too. Yes.
Yeah. So I decided that I need to get a little bit of hustle. And when I was 14, I started to work I remember, in a call center. And I don't even remember, maybe like 200 times a day. Hello, this is me, Slava. I'm your like phone operator today. I will help you with your phone bills or something like this. And after that, I went to the college at 14. Yeah, because in Ukraine you can go to the college like pretty early, and you can get like your specialties. You can become an IT worker or any other profession you will find in the college. So I went to college, and I remember maybe like 15 years. I'm a 15, and I realized that I really interested in IT, but I applied for programming, and I realized that I don't like the programming at all. So I decided to learn the UX because a user experience profession was pretty young that back in the days. It was just appeared. I remember that everybody was calling it web designer or something like this, and I realized
Right.
that I want to learn it because I really into the um, interfaces. I really like to make something that will be like useful for people in their everyday living. And in that case, I remember I learned in the internet. I found like online courses or something like this. I passed this courses, and I'm 15 years old, creating a CV where I told that I'm actually 18 years old and I have like a half of year of experience on freelance. And I applied for a company telling that I'm 18 years old and I have like 6 months of experience, and everything went well. I get applied for a job. I remember, and then on my birthday when it was 16, they were like, "Dude, you're not 18 years old. You're not allowed to work like a full time work day in our country, but due to the laws restrictions." And I said like, maybe you will find a way. And I remember that I went to my mother, and then with my mother, we went to the lawyer, and she made, like, a public official document that is signed from both sides by the lawyer and by my mother and by me, that she is giving the permission for me to work a full time day. And this is
Oh,
how I
wow.
started to work. And yeah, already more than 8 years I'm working in this industry. And 4 years ago, I started to work in the company that I'm working right now. It's called Alti.com. And we are one of the most popular and top companies in the world, if you're talking about the fintech industry and making fintech products and banking services.
It's quite well known that Ukrainians have developed a high tech industry that carries over not just in finance and technology, but even in Hollywood films use a lot of Ukrainian
Yeah.
technology in their
Filmotechnics,
special
for
effects.
example. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there many artists like you that are some of the leading artists in the country, but also have day jobs that are different from their music career? It seems like that would be hard to balance that. Is that a common thing?
I remember maybe like 3 years ago, my first manager said that artists should suffer. And maybe this is because of a lack of money or something like this, but I don't agree with that thing. And yeah, the truth is, in Ukraine, especially right now because of war, uh, if you wanna have like good life, if you wanna have a car, a good apartment somewhere in the center, something like this, you definitely need to have a secondary work, and not a main job, but a secondary work definitely. Because if you're a musician, if you're an artist, you should be an artist first of all. So yeah, but definitely you should have a day job. Maybe not in every cases, because I know that a lot of artists don't have it, and especially young artists are starting to work as artists, and after that they're leaving their jobs. But for me, the thing is, um, I really like to do these things because it's like helping me. It helps me to keep the balance, because when I'm doing music, I feel that I need to do something that is much more technical for me, that need my technical skills, that need a little bit of learning, maybe like researches, analytics. And then I'm making a deep diving into my IT industry work. And when I'm feeling that I'm really tired because of my IT work, I'm going back to music because I have a bunch of stuff that I want to tell to the people that listen to me. And this is why I'm having these two things, because this is like my work balance. And definitely sometimes it's pretty hard to keep both of these things running, but most of the time I'm feeling that this is the only way how I'll go further. Because the IT industry, music, movies, all of that things, this are businesses, just different spheres with the different skills. But the thing that you do is basically same. The thing how the market works is basically same. And the thing that I feel in Ukraine, a lot of artists don't have and don't understand. Most of the artists don't understand that they're doing also a business, but not only art. So if you're having that skills, that type of skills, how you should run a business with a big companies, you would definitely know how to run business with a smaller company that yourself are actually that as an artist. So yeah.
Let's talk about your path to music. Were you when you were growing up in Lviv? Were you ever thinking about becoming a musician, a rap artist? What got you on that path?
Big shout out to my mother because she had a lot of cool things that she showed to me. Because
A
back in the
big
days,
influence on your life, huh? She
yeah,
was a big
yeah,
musical influence.
yeah, and my mother have a really good music taste, and I remember that really that days we haven't had a lot of good music in Ukraine. I mean, like, uh, USSR just ended. There's not a lot of stuff on a players on a vinyls or something like this. And I remember that she had um, like this vinyls that was sent like secretly to our country. And I remember after that
Ah,
she
bootleg copies. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, very
yeah.
famous, right?
And
Yeah.
I remember my first album that I ever heard was my first band that I ever heard was Tribe Called Quest and Method Man. And I was like, okay, so this is how the real music sounds. And after that, she
Yes.
showed me a blues. She showed me a classic jazz that is pretty hard to listen for me. Was pretty hard to listen when I was a kid because jazz is really hard. And I realized that I never had a plan to become an artist or something like this. I was just like in a big love of the music. And I remember that maybe when I was 11 years, some old, something like this, I started to just listen to the Busta Rhymes Breaking Act track. And I started to learn the lyrics. And I was like, okay, I want to do it the same way how the Busta Rhymes did. And I remember his fast flow on that track was pretty hard to learn. And that was like a big challenge for me, like to
Sure,
feels
sure,
like
yeah.
you should pass the boss in some video game or something like this. So that was my first track. And I remember I decided to record it. And I've been using my webcam microphone with some type of textile around that was like a pop filter, and I was recording my tracks in Sony Vegas Pro. That was actually a video editor, and that was my first tracks. And I was making covers. The second cover in my life was Chris Brown and Busta Rhymes and Lil Wayne called "Look at Me Now," something like this.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is how my music path started. And after that, I realized that I will write poems. Uh, we That was like 2012 or something like this, when actually our first revolution started. Revolution where the first part of war started in the Crimea and on the Donbass. And I
Hmm.
remember that I started to write poems about this. There was a lot of things that I wrote that back in the days, and I realized that okay, well, I should try do it without the music. I will do it with the music, with the beat. So I started to rap on the streets with my friends in a college. But everything started in a school, so we were making hip hop jams and everything like this. And I remember my rhymes was pretty. Uh, I can say it was pretty bad. Because I'm only like 14 years old that days, and yeah, but like this is just iterations. And then I moved to Kiev, and I found that there's a lot of people in that city that are in love with the rap music. One of the most famous producers back in the days again. Right now, he changed the team, I can say. But back in the days, he showed me all the music industry, how all the music industry in Ukraine works, and I started to make a ghostwriting. So I was a ghostwriter. I was making pop songs, rap songs, and all that kind of stuff. And after that, I remember one girl that is actually, she's also an artist in Ukraine. She was singing and she's still making a lot of songs and she's pretty popular. And I remember that we became like, we had some type of relationships or something like this. And she was listening to the ghostwriting music that I was making. And she was like, dude, you should start to do your solo music. please do something. And I was like, no, I don't need this. I'm not an artist or something like this. I'm just doing things because I love it and I'm earning money on it. And she was like, no, please, like at least one album. And I remember I spent 2 weeks to write 6 tracks, and it was just for fun. I was doing it, like with a maybe a lowest feelings that I ever had when I was doing the music or something like this. And I remember that we released it, and it went viral. And I was like, why? Why people listen to it? It's really bad. I don't like it at all. I wrote it for 2 weeks.
You're a tough critic on yourself.
Yeah, and I remember it was pretty fun to me. And the funny thing is, one of that tracks is still one of the most popular tracks on Spotify. So
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You are so fortunate to have had a mother to expose you to so many interesting American hip hop and rap and jazz artists. I've heard a lot about bootleg albums being smuggled into the USSR, but usually I heard it was Rolling Stones or Beatles or Pink Floyd. I've never heard a Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
I think that's incredible. And why is it, do you suppose, your mother was embracing American hip hop and rap and R&B?
I think because my mother, one of the most cooler mothers that was ever been in this planet.
There you
And
go.
yeah, you know, I remember that was not even only a hip hop. Also, the second vinyl that I had was a Brian Bennett. And Brian Bennett, that's a crazy guy. After that, Giuliano Sorgini, all that guys. And I think that this is because not because she wanted to show me a hip hop. This is just because this is all that was all the vinyls that she got. You
Oh,
know, like,
she was able
and
to find it.
we hadn't had a lot of options with this type of vinyls that days. And yeah, and a lot of people was buying a Rolling Stones first of all, or ACDC or something like this. And not a lot of people was are really into the hip hop or something like this. So there was a lot of vinyls with a hip hop or a jazz music or something like a Brian Bennett. So she bought all of that vinyls and presented it to me. So yeah, yeah. And right now this is the time when I'm showing the new music to my mother, and we are sharing the music preferences. I can say I'm sharing a playlist on a Spotify, and she listened to my playlist. I remember maybe like 1 month ago when she was on a on my solo concert in Lviv in my hometown. That was my first solo concert ever in my hometown. All of the rappers from that town came to my concert, and I remember the concert ended. And I said to everybody, like, let's go to the backyard, let's smoke, drink, all of that. And I had a lot of people they were wanting to make a photo with me, and I stayed. It took like maybe 30 minutes. I went back, and I'm seeing that some of underground rappers from Lviv were giving a huge joint to my mother. And I was like, okay, that's
It is
interesting.
hip hop.
It is hip hop. And I remember I made like 2 puffs, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty high. I'm turning to my mother and saying like, how are you? And she was like, bad. And I asked why, and she said, I need more. And then she took this joint back, make like 5 puffs, and then she was like, yeah, the Method Man was good.
Wow. She's teaching the rest of you. Oh, that's really incredible. What is, you mentioned your first big concert in your hometown, Lviv. What is your hometown like? How is it different from Kiev?
So when people from all around the Ukraine and even from foreign countries visiting Lviv, they're saying that it feels like Europe. And it's a funny thing because Ukraine, it is Europe.
Because it's so close to Europe. It's the
Yeah.
closest Ukrainian city to Poland, to the Polish border.
Yes, yes. And a lot of culture from Austrian Empire and Poland, a lot of architecture still there, still in a good condition. most of the people that are originally from Lviv, they have like families in Poland, Romanian families, something like this. So we have a lot of, let's say, European vibes there. Also, religion. We are Catholics, as the Poland's same stuff. We have a lot of Poland people living in Lviv. We have a lot of people coming from different countries and studying in Lviv because we have like really good universities there. As Lviv Polytechnic, for example, we have really good programming experience there, and I think that it feels like Europe. And the thing is also that it feels completely different if you're going to compare it to the Kiev, because the Kiev is a megapolis. It's like the huge city. It has a lot of things to do. It has a lot of, I can say, spheres when you can prove yourself. And in Lviv, this is more a city where you don't need to spend a lot of time on work. You can just relax, live your own life, no rush, nothing. Just feel yourself and go with the flow, you know? So this is how Lviv feels. But also, there's a lot of things about Ukrainian culture that are in there because we have a lot of places really that are really huge for our Ukrainian history, churches, castles, all around Lviv, not only inside of the city, all part of the city. And if you're going to visit Lviv someday, you'll realize that this is maybe like one of the most ancient cities in Ukraine that stayed in a good condition, and we have a lot of history there. And it proves that actually Ukraine was much more earlier than Russia or something like this, how they call it.
And Lviv is proof of that, right? The founding of
Definitely.
that city was long before before Russia was
Yeah.
founded. Yes. Let's get back to your musical influences. I assume you're a fan of East Coast and West Coast rap and hip hop here in America, and I would bet that's had an influence on you. Can you talk about your favorite American artists?
Definitely. Um, this is definitely that Kendrick Lamar, one of the best rappers ever, I feel. Method Man, definitely. MF Doom, his lyrics, that's crazy. Um, Early albums of Eminem, also Tyler, the Creator. But not only American rappers, I'm also really into the UK scene. And I'm a big fan of Stormzy, of a guy called um, his name is it writes like Pasoli, Pasolu. I don't know how to spell it, but actually he's a freshman, but his sound. So yeah, I think this is one of my favorite rappers. Maybe an ASAP Rocky with his type of style, changing every time. I like it. So yeah, this is the music that I'm into it. I really love the, like hard music that you can listen like one by one. For example, the last album of Kendrick is pretty hard to listen. And this is not for the mass market or something like this. And I heard a lot of reviews from different people that this is too hard, that music is it have a lot of instruments, have a lot of strange lyrics and all of that kind of stuff. But this is what I really like. When you reading a book and when you listening to music, you feel the same details.
Your musical style has evolved since earlier in your career, hasn't it? I listened to some of your early work and then your latest album. Can you describe how you have evolved from your earlier career to your last album, Short Term
Yeah.
Relationships, and before that, I believe it was Ocala Front, which are
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah. So all my previous tracks was with a dark sound, with the huge basses, hard kicks, all that kind of stuff. And I remember maybe this is because I'm getting older, but I'm trying to do more serious music. But along with this, I'm feeling that I also want to do something that will be much more easier to listen to the people that wanted to get know me. And I remember, for example, let's take a look on the Oculus front. That EP was released when the war started. I spent a couple of months on a front line with my friends, and I had a lot of emotions, and I had a lot of things to say, and that emotion was anger. And I realized that all my music in that EP should be like really hard. It should just hit you when you listen to it, and this is why I made this type of sound. Because when I went back to Kiev, everything was pretty quiet in Kiev, and I realized that in this quiet city, I want to make loud music. But after that, I remember the winter started and the Russians started to launch the missiles on our cities, on our country, and destroying the electricity and all that kind of stuff. And we had a blackouts. We haven't had electricity, water, anything. So I remember everything is like pretty bad around. Feels much more depressive than any winter before it, and I'm feeling that this tension was on the highest level I ever felt in my life, and I realized that in this condition, I want to make something that will be a complete opposite to it, and I want to do something that maybe will have like hard lyrics with a deep context or something like this with my emotions and with my things that is going around my uh, crazy head and mind, but with the music that will be, I can say, positive, that will give you positive emotions. And I realized that contrast that I was creating was like a lifesaver to me, because this is the only way how I went through this winter. Because that was the last thing that helped me to go through this winter, making a positive sounds, making this short-term relationships album. And I was throwing all the emotions, all the good emotions inside of that album, and I was listening my demos, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm still alive. I was feeling alive when I was doing that album. And right now, in November, I'm planning to release the album that was actually written in 2021. And it will be the darkest album I ever had and I ever wrote. I was living with the monks and the mountains for 3 months in Carpathian Mountains, and that monks helped me to write an album. It will have a
It was in a monastery. Were you in a
yeah,
monastery?
yeah, we were living there,
That's interesting.
and it will be like 22 tracks with a really dark sound, and that album will be called Dark Music. Yeah, in Ukrainian it's spelled Temna Muzika, and it will have like two parts, 11 tracks in each of that, and yeah, and I will go back to to my dark side, and I realized that I want to have like two paths in music. One of that is like a dark sound where I have all of my anger, all of my bad emotions. And another thing is like complete opposite when I'm doing like a soul hip hop, soul hip hop, something like this. Because, as an artist, you cannot sit in one condition all the time. You should change if you want to evolve. This is the only way how you can evolve.
For sure.
So this is why I decided I will have like two different type of sounds in my music and in my future career. So yeah,
Have your fans stayed with you through these changes? Are they embracing your new music as much as your old music? Are they? Are you increasing the amount of fans with which each new album, each new style?
I think that the thing is, um, I don't know why, but in East European countries, for example, let's talk about American market or UK market. When you're starting to do something, you're a young artist. You will have a lot of support. because you will have the comments that says, okay man, keep going, you will do it better, you will have it, you will definitely make it, do it more. And you going you if at the time when you're getting bigger, you will have hate, definitely, because not everybody will like you. But in US or in UK or any other countries on the West, you will have the hate through the support. In Ukraine and East European countries, you will have support through the hate. Because when you're starting to do something in Ukraine, and when you're young artists in Ukraine or any other East European country, uh, everybody will say, man, this is not yours. Stop doing that. Sounds like a bullshit. Don't do it, please. Stop it. This is not you. This is not yours. Sounds bad. And at the time when you're getting bigger, you will have fans and support. So, but the thing is, that type of fans that you're earning in here, they're like the most loyal fans that you can even imagine. So you can do anything. But if they feel that this is you, this is not a commercial stuff or something like this is you, they will
As
stay
long
with
as you're
you.
authentic, right? Authentic.
So yeah, they will stay with you forever.
I'd like to ask you how the war has impacted your music, and I know it must have in so many ways. You mentioned that you're putting out a new album at the end of November, and I can't even imagine how you were able to finish that album during wartime. I mean, how have you managed to keep making music during the war? I mean, not only are you avoiding tanks and missiles, but blackouts caused from Russian missile strikes on your power plants. I mean, how are you able to write and record music under these conditions?
Simple answer, actually. Rap music, that's a tough music from the people that living tough life.
That's
And
right. Yeah.
this is why I'm doing rap. We're living tough life, doing tough music. And it's pretty funny right now to listen to the tracks where the people rapping about that they're gangsters or something like this, how they having guns on the blocks and shooting somebody. Guys, was it Ukraine? Tell me who's the gangster, please. That's really funny to me. And all that music videos from my childhood when they like flexing with the guns or rifles. When I'm seeing that they having a finger on a, so when you're holding a rifle, they having a finger on the trigger is pretty funny because they don't even know how to hold a rifle, something like this. But this is the skills that we earned for the last 2 years. And you know, the people, humanity, we are parasites on this planet. And the main thing about parasites, they can avoid anything, and they will still continue to live on this planet, such as humanity and such as people. And I think that I just I just need to brace myself and go further, because there is no other way. There is no other chance that I will have another life when I can do my music, when I will do something that I really like. So I don't have a lot of time on this planet. We don't have a lot of time on this planet. So yeah, war is happening. We doing war, we doing rap.
You released a very emotional and important song, "Find My Country,"
Yeah.
and a video with that. In the lyrics, you write, "Don't keep silent when the soul wants to scream."
Yeah.
Can you describe what that is about?
About a bravery, actually. Uh, all of the Ukrainians and people that are going through wars, not only in Ukraine, there's a lot of wars happening in the world every year. Every like 50 years, we have world war, something like this. Every 100 years, we have world war. And everybody who went through the hell of war have a lot of to say. But this is not a body speaking. This is your soul speaking. Because that amount and level of emotions that you're getting on the war, you cannot describe it physically. You can just tell it from your heart. So this is why I'm telling that if your soul want to scream, you should do it. Don't keep the emotions inside of you because they will eat you from inside. So if you want to scream, do it. The worst thing that could happen with you, you will be paralyzed or you will be dead. But nobody will do it with you. Uh, nobody will get you paralyzed because of your screaming or you telling truth. Maybe in Russia, but not in Ukraine or any other normal country. So yeah, if your soul want to scream, don't keep silence.
What do you say to people who remain silent about the war?
I can just say fuck them, because you will never understand what the life in a war is. And if you don't want to talk about this, please just support. Because actually, on the other hand, I remember my childhood, and we're not talking a lot about a war in Syria, for example, or something like this, yeah, or Iraq or Afghanistan. So I understand. On the other hand, I understand why people in other countries don't want to talk a lot about the Ukrainian war. But this war is pretty different because right now we have like two sides. And right now we know who's the real evil and who's on the good side. And, the thing about this war that if Ukraine will lose this war, they will not stop in Ukraine. They will go further. Poland, Article 5 NATO, nuclear war,
Sure,
and the
sure.
end. So if you keep silent,
World war. It'll be world war. Yeah.
yeah, so if you keep silent about war, you're lost. I think you're lost for the humanity, not only for me or other Ukrainians, just for yourself, first of all.
Do you worry people sometimes forget there's a war going on?
Yeah, I definitely worry about this because still those a lot of my friends on the front line. My brother died on the front line. My whole family is suffering because of that. Part of my family lost their houses in the Mariupol. The city is destroyed. A lot of my friends lost their legs, lives, other part of the bodies, and psychology. There's a lot of psychology troubles in Ukraine because of war. And when you're seeing this every day, you will definitely get worried if people will forget about this. So, yeah, of course, I'm worrying. And I understand that this war will not stop the other days, it will not stop tomorrow or till the end of this year. I hope it will stop till the end of next year, but still doesn't feel like something real for me. And in that case, I know that we just need to accept our new faith, our new everyday living, and just trying to do as much as we can. And maybe like just give a little bit of our comfort to the people around us, to take it from us, and to give this comfort to the people that really need this. I don't feel that this is something crucial for us, and we can do it. We can give it.
Slava, I know your brother is a hero and he fought valiantly in Mariupol in the Azov regiment there. And I know you've written lyrics and dedicated songs to him. Can you tell us a little bit about your brother?
I think this is the best example of father that you can even imagine. Best example of brother, best example of son, because this is the man that never thought about living it, you know? Uh, all the things that he was doing till the end. Even if he had no energy, no passion, he was still doing it. He was still finishing all the things that I remember. And he's the older brother, so he was also, like really smart. I never felt that this is something that all our all our dialogues or something like this, I never felt that, man, just leave it. Don't touch me, please. I'm a teenager. I don't understand what you're talking about. He always was around, but with a deep thoughts, with the right decisions and with good support. that was never was bothered me or something like this. Yeah, the best brother and the best father because his kids. Right now, I'm looking at them and they're so smart. I remember myself at 5 and as his younger son, and we went 2 weeks ago. They were visiting me in Kiev, and I was showing them city. And we have this huge wall where we have photos of the soldiers that were fighting in Mariupol and died. And he went to put a photo of his father, of my brother, and he said like, "Yeah, this is our faith, but there is no other ways, no other chances to finish this." And he said, "This is the last chance in a whole humanity future that will really can stop the evil on this planet. This is our last
Hmm.
chance. If we cannot stand this, this is finished." But nobody never told him things like this. And how these thoughts appeared in his young mind, I don't even know. But yeah, I know because of his father.
I think it's beautiful that you've been able to write music and dedicate music to the memory of your brother, who's a hero in Ukraine. You yourself have been on the front line.
Not so much, but yeah, yeah, had some experience.
What is that like? How can you describe it?
The most romantic thing thing in the world, but also this is the hell. Uh, our you know, this is the thing that you can't even dream about this. I mean, like the level of emotions, the level of pain that are
Fear
in
too,
here.
right? You must be feeling so
Yeah,
many different.
that blood that it feels in the air. The pain screams blood, and when you're going back to your hometown, you cannot even sleep because you feel the screams, you feel the explosions. And I remember I was waking up and I was like, is there any explosion around or in our district or something? I was checking my messenger and there was no messages. And then I heard some screams, and I remember I went to the balcony and I realized that this is the screams and explosions inside my head, and it was pretty strange to me. And I went to, I passed the psychology test, all the kind of stuff, and yeah, it feels like hell.
Let's talk about rap some more. I know for centuries Russia has overshadowed Ukraine culturally, even in pop music. But homegrown Ukrainian rap is more popular than Russian rap now. Has it always been this way, and how did it happen?
Uh, all these years, the whole world was thinking that Ukraine is just a appendicite of Russian market. I don't know why. Actually, maybe this is because of the USSR and post-Soviet Union things.
Centuries, right? It's for
Yeah,
centuries this has been
yeah,
going on. Yeah.
and even in Ukraine, we had Russian music. It was much more Russian music in Ukraine back in the days was much more popular than Ukrainian music. Definitely, we had our idols as Ocean Elze or something like this, but still, there was a lot of Russian music. Still, there's some people that listening to Russian music. They're
Still
just
today.
dumb. They're just dumb. Like nothing will change them till the end of their life. They're lost for the humanity and for themselves, as I said previously. So basically, most of the people that listen to Russian music, they don't know anything about war. They're just trying to avoid it, to pay money, to get in corruption or something like this. But yeah, yeah, going back to the music, right now, we just finally understood why it's so important to have our own country and have our own culture. Because if there will be no culture, there will be no country, there will be no nationality like Ukrainians. And because of that, we finally understood that Ukrainian music is good and is important. And I remember like year ago, there was not a lot of Ukrainian music that was popular. But right now, there's so much new artists. There's so much new rappers, rock
It's like a
bands, and
creative renaissance, perhaps.
yeah, definitely. And the problem is we have we have a term in Ukraine. It's called "розстріляне відродження," and it means like uh, killed Renaissance. So what basically Soviet Union was doing, they were killing all the artists and painters in Ukraine back in the days, poetry writers. They killed all of them in the 60s, as I remember. And right now, we're finally getting our new art renaissance. And it finally happened. It happened through the pain of war, but it happened. And it will go much more bigger. We're finally getting a new market that appears in Ukraine, a music market. We finally have like normal, I cannot say like huge normal contracts from the worldwide labels, but still we're getting some contracts from worldwide labels. And I hope that some top labels will go inside of the Ukrainian business in music industry. And I hope that everything will just explode. Not a good word to have in here, but yeah, I hope that music industry will explode next year.
You rap in both Ukrainian and in English.
Yeah,
So I have to ask, what are your plans for recording more songs in English? And do you
yeah.
intend to tour in the West when the war is over?
Actually, I'm already doing tours in the West because I have the
Oh,
ability.
fantastic!
Yeah, yeah. We had maybe like three tours through Germany, Spain, Poland, and as I remember, it was France, something like this. No, not France. I think that's all. Yeah, Poland, Germany, and Spain, and we had a concert there. But this is most of them are for Ukrainians that live in there. And my thing is my main, let's say, my main purpose in this life is to give the people a style, is to give the people the right taste of a music in Ukraine, first of all. So my plan for the future is to get on a top level in Ukraine to show all of them that what is like good sound, how sound Ukrainian rap, how it should sound. I mean, like I'm using Ukrainian instruments, but not doing like folk music. I'm doing rap music, and I'm showing that old instruments can be used other way, newer way, and completely different way. So after that, I'm definitely planning to uh, do an album, and not even one album, a lot of albums. I hope so in English, because I want to spread this sound. I want to show how Ukrainian music can sound on a worldwide level. So we'll see. I'm feeling that there's a lot of ambitions inside of me, but we'll see. I hope so.
I think you'll be a cultural ambassador for Ukraine
Yeah,
with hip hop and rap. I hope your plans include a tour of America.
definitely. I think that there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to do with American guys. And I feel that there's a lot of things that I can show to them, they can show to me, and we can exchange. So yeah, I'm definitely looking through all of the ways and abilities to make some collaborations with the guys from US. So yeah, yeah, I'm searching for it and looking
Is
forward.
there one artist in one American artist in particular you dream of collaborating with?
I think my dream collaboration will be a Kendrick Lamar. Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
amazing. That would be incredible. Yes, yes. In the lyrics to your latest single, you say, "I probably won't be able to live in old age because a sharp tongue will scar me." Is it
Yeah.
hard to be true to yourself?
I don't feel that that's hard actually. This is the way how I live. This is the way how I live. Yeah. And this is the only way how I can live my life.
Have your live shows changed since the war? Has anything changed in the way you perform on stage?
Yeah. I became much more patient in my everyday living. I don't have this like overwhelming emotions, something like this on a podcast, even on a shows or something like this. I can say I'm storing this energy in me inside of me, and the live shows that we are doing feels like somebody doing uh, I don't know how to call it, when the priests are getting a demon from somebody, how it called.
Oh, exorcism. Yeah, an
Yeah, it feels like
exorcism. Yeah.
exorcism. Yeah. I mean, like the level of anger that I have on a stage, even when I'm doing like soul hip hop music, feels crazy, and I'm giving all the emotions that I have inside of me on this performances. And yeah, it's definitely changed because I grew up, and my music grew up, and my emotions grew up. So yeah, it feels much more emotional, I can say.
I was looking at your Instagram, which is fantastic. You get some amazing pictures on there, and
Thank you.
I couldn't help but think, and please don't take this the wrong way, but I couldn't help but think how much you resemble the Ukrainian folk hero and poet Taras Shevchenko. Has anyone ever told you that before? Maybe that's
All
just
the
me, but
time.
oh, is that right? Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Because and I had seen a statue of Taras Shevchenko. I had visited Borodyanka, and in
Okay.
the town square, the Russian soldiers had come and just mindlessly shot up the statue of
Yeah.
Taras. It
He's
was just
sitting there. Yeah.
insane. I guess it was their attempt at cultural genocide. It just was ridiculous. But he's a poet. You're a poet. I think rap lyrics are poetry, right? I mean, you
Should
agree
be.
with that. So, are you a fan of Taras Shevchenko, and do you have anything in common with him?
I think we definitely have something in common, such as mustaches and weight that I'm trying to lose. But yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people in Ukraine that are joking that I'm some kind of reincarnation of Taras Shevchenko.
Can you
Uh,
tell us, our listeners, a little bit about Taras Shevchenko, who he was, and why he's so beloved by Ukrainians?
he is actually one of the creators of Ukrainian culture. He went through the hell of Russian regime like hundreds years ago, and he was one of the first Ukrainian writers. And his legacy is pretty huge all around the world because he was pretty popular back in the days, not only in Ukraine, and he's an icon in a writing sphere all around the world. And yeah, he's actually one of the most popular. His poems is one of the most popular poems in the world, and I cannot say that I'm worshiping him or something like this. I have other writers in Ukraine that I like much more. For example, Ivan Franko or Lesya Ukrainka, because his lyrics pretty sad, such as mine, and I'm looking for the things that not feels like this is something that I wrote. So this is why I'm listening and reading and searching for things that I never made. But yeah, yeah, he's definitely an icon in Ukraine, and he deserves a lot of respect because actually he was one of the founders of Ukrainian culture. I hope, such as I will be one of the founders of modern Ukrainian culture in the future. But it will be a pretty shame thing if they will give the lyrics from our first album to learn in the schools.
But you definitely don't mind being called. You resemble Taras Shevchenko.
Yeah,
That's a compliment, right?
yeah, it's already a common thing to me. Yeah, I accept it.
That's, it must be the mustache. I think it's the
Yeah,
mustache for sure.
definitely, and my cheeks.
Ah,
So
so
yeah.
Slav, I just have one last question for you. When the war is over, what do you want Ukraine to look like? What changes would you like to see? And what will Ukraine's role be in Europe and the world?
Let's take a couple of examples from other countries. So if we talk about the music and music sphere, I want Ukraine to be UK. If we talk about the social life, I want Ukraine to be a Switzerland. if we talk about an army, I want Ukraine to be in NATO. That's all.
And is there changes that need to be made inside of Ukraine? Right now, the country's at war, but after war, when there's peace again, are there changes needed to put Ukraine on the path that you dream about?
Definitely, everything that need changes in yourself first of all. So we should start from ourselves. We still have a lot of change, a lot of things to work on, and one of the things why I'm still doing the things that I do, and why I'm writing the music like this, and why I'm writing lyrics like this, because I wanted to give like clear understanding to all of the Ukrainians why it's so important to be responsible and mindful, and we have a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of things that should be changed. So yeah, yeah, I feel that we are responsible for it first of all. We, and after that, our partners and friends. So, but I think you know what, Ukrainians are one of the best nationalities if we talk about work. So I think we can work through it.
Well, you proved it yourself. You came here directly from work to do this podcast. Ukrainians are
That's right.
very hard workers, I'm learning. So I want to thank Vyacheslav Drofa, the Ukrainian rapper known as OTOY, who
Thank you so much.
also goes by the name Slava, which I'm
Thank
honored to
you.
be able to call you. Thank you, Slava, for appearing on our podcast today, and it was very informative. And I look forward to your new music coming out in December or at the end of November, I believe you said.
Yeah, yeah, end of November. Yeah, yeah, correctly.
Super.
Thank you so much. That
And
was a
I
big pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
Wonderful. And I very much look forward to seeing you perform here in Los Angeles someday soon. And we will
Hope so.
definitely have to bring out the hip hop crowd for that.
Yeah,
So
we'll
thank you
do it.
very much, Slava. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. Have a good day.
Alrighty,
Bye.
alrighty.